Well, hi everybody. Welcome to ZTV Live. Today is Tuesday, August 31st, the last day of the month, meaning the end of what they call meteorological summer, I suppose. Tomorrow is the first day of fall. I think we're all ready for some fall temperatures around here. Tonight is another edition of Reading, Writing, and Ralph with our favorite literary editor, Ralph Peluso. Hey, Ralph, welcome back to ZTV.
Hi, Susan. How are you doing today?
I am doing just great. How about yourself?
Great. I understand you got out and played a little bit of golf.
I did play golf. I played, and it was really great to get back there. It's been a long time since I played, and I was very rusty. But I can tell you that there was marked improvement on every hole. So, but I just was as we were discussing before. I realized I did the math, and my clubs have to be about 40 years old, and I think I might need to invest in a new set.
Time for a new set. It makes a huge, huge difference.
Good.
Well, tonight's guest is Marie Pizano, and she's written two memoirs and having to do with the empowerment of women. And very bold, very brazen books where she does open up her life, and I encourage people to read it. And she has a lot of good things to say, and I encourage the females that are watching tonight, all of our ladies friends out there, ask some questions. And
definitely.
Let's see.
I'm gonna bring Marie up on screen. Marie Pizano, hello and welcome to ZTV.
Hi, Maria.
Hi, thank you for having me.
How are you doing today?
Good.
You've been busy. You're in Memphis and you've been at a meeting all day. And
I've been traveling on the road and what they say, living la vida loca.
There you go. So tell the audience about yourself. I mean, we like to have the authors, familiarize the audience with you, what you've done, your background, where you grew up, and all leading up to how you got to where you are today.
Well, I'm originally from the south side of Chicago. I grew up with a single mother on food stamps and in an all African American community with gangs. And so it wasn't your just typical childhood, but it was definitely an experience. And from there, just being raised in the south side of Chicago, living, the South Side Chicago life is all about. But I had parents that wanted to create change for us. We moved to Calumet City, Illinois, and I attended high school there. And unfortunately, when I was 18, after graduating from high school, I was in a motorcycle accident that left me with over 280 something stitches. But luckily, I worked at what we were just talking about, Valley Chicago Health Club. But because of fitness and working out, that's pretty much what saved my life. My journey led me basically to learning how to walk again and getting back up on my feet, and many, many different changes, and trying to get myself through college, and married. And then, in 1999, headed to the South, Memphis, Tennessee, which was a big culture shock change, and many things from there. And like I say in my book, it's, from Barefoot to Stilettos, it's not for sissies. We all come through this life barefoot. We all stumble and fall. We all, have a path to take. But what I say, I mean, even with my journey, no matter what, we all have the power to rise tall again and go find that yes.
Yes, and I want you to explain what finding yes means to everyone. And
Well,
I've read the book, but I think you could explain it to them in a quick nutshell.
Well, my yes is not going to be your yes. What
Hmm.
works for me is not going to work for others, but it's about no matter what, finding your purpose, your yes, what makes you happy, what, the passion, what your purpose, is here, finding that yes. And we all forget that we all have this power and we're all enough, and we forget those kind of things. But I'm hoping, with my story and what I have done, to make a choice to, no matter what, this world will tell us no. This, it's just all about finding your yes. And once we discover that, I think we relieve a lot of suffering, and we bring back happiness and balance into our lives.
So is that the key to knowing it? If you had to say, when you found it, you went through a certain amount of feelings and sensations. When I find it, or anybody else finds it, how will I know I've gotten there?
Well, it's what makes you happy. It's what that yes is. I mean, I don't know what your yes will be, only you know that. And, it's what I say, it's between me and God anyway, but it's, what makes you happy, when you find, to me, when you find that balance with your mind, body, and soul, and we're not talking yoga, but we're talking, when you're in that balance, and you know what you want in life, these lessons that you learn, and um, once you hurdle over that lesson, I think that's when we discover that yes, if that makes sense.
No, it does. I think it does, and I think you're right. You'll know it when you achieve it, I guess, and
Yes.
and
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
what
because I can't
moves you.
tell you what your yes is. Everybody's
It's
different. Everybody perceives things differently. It's things that make you happy. What you want to do and pursue in life.
yeah, and I guess as you get older, would you recommend that the things that don't make you happy, you just don't do them and don't confront them and just leave them alone?
Easier said than done, really. But what I found is everybody has an ACE, which means adverse childhood experience. And there's 10 different ACEs that these are like traumas that happen as a child, or um, from parents divorcing, or a that was incarcerated, physical abuse, a parent that passed away, or all these things that happen to people as children. And what I found is, as an adult, we're always getting over our childhood, and we're all victims of victimization. um you know Again, it's like trying to find yourself through that, and knowing that your past doesn't define you. What has happened to you is basically, um, like the so what. You can take that, but if you live in it, you're going to be stuck in that, what I call that, kind of like, for me, when I went through that rut, it's like living in the dark ages. A lot of things happen, a lot of things crumble, but these are all experiences and a journey that I've been through, and I know most people have to discover, and heal their past inner child. And once we do that, um basically that sets us free. And what I did with my book was journaling was one of that, one of those things that helped me heal and set myself free by telling, I say there's three sides to every story, right? We all heard that, yours, mine, and the truth. But my story is my truth, my story, but most of all, my forgiveness. And it's forgiveness, to myself, to others, and moving forward in this life, and the only way to do it is heal that inner child and discover who you really are and find that yes, within yourself and what you want in life, your purpose. And people forget that, we think we're not enough because we're always told no, or we're always told that we're not enough. And I think that's the biggest, downfall, in each human, that we do have that power. We do. And just because someone said something, just because someone wants to make up something about us, or mad at us, for it's what we're seeing in the world today. And if we each find that yes within, nothing's going to offend you. You're going to live your purpose and, walk tall, basically, like what I say, walk tall in your stilettos and get past that. I mean, we all have a Rocky Balboa story. We've all been knocked down, and how many times, or what is the saying Sylvester Stallone says, it's not about how many times you get hit, it's about how many times you get up.
Right.
And if we choose not to suffer, if we choose the basics, to heal that, and you know get through that past, to forgive, all of these traumas, it's such, a easier path, an easier life. And it is a choice, but we
I agree.
all have to discover that at our own, unique times.
I agree. I agree. Uh,
Yeah.
We I want to get the audience started. We have three trivia questions tonight. The last one will be for an autographed copy of Barefoot to Stilettos, finding my yes, I guess it is. And the first two will be for um, um, mugs or a sleeve of zebra golf balls. So the first question is, what was the name of the memoir written by the actress who played Leia Organa? So again, what was the title of the first memoir written by the actress who played Leia Organa? I tried to make it a little bit difficult for them. Talk about when some of the good spots in your life, and I think when you get rewarded for the things you do, you get a certain sense of exhilaration and completeness, and you gain confidence. So talk about the awards you've received in business and or with your books, and how you felt when you made those achievements.
You know, I've won a couple awards with, St. Jude, and the Women's Foundation for Greater Memphis, and um, being a Shiro is what, one award was, and being recognized. It is a good feeling to be recognized that way, from, your peers or others. But what I found that, no matter what award you get, it's still, it's great to be recognized. But the best reward is knowing that you're good enough without those awards. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
And
that's an interesting
um,
perspective. Yeah,
yeah,
talk about that a little bit.
I don't, I rather do, I know it might sound corny, but just, again, if people read my story, you'll understand that if we keep searching for others' recognition, others' approval, um, others to, give us an award for being who we are, it's it's never going to really satisfy you until you find that yes within, because not in a narcissistic way or in an ego way. I mean, we all have egos, but and that's what is, sometimes the egos are good to get us through, certain things. But if we don't have that inner, knowing that we are enough, no award is going to satisfy anything, So it made me feel really good. I get more a kick out of when I know what I've done has made a difference to someone else. And maybe that has taken me the 51 years, but, especially now, I think we should all realize life is too short. And if we keep waiting for other people's approval, or worried about somebody getting mad at us, or, um, all this stuff going on, this noise of blame, shame, and everything, you're gonna always be stuck in that, you needing approval. That's a suffering, stage to be in. And I rather just be happy and know I'm enough, and it doesn't matter what anybody thinks, I'm gonna go find my yes regardless. And I hope
Well,
everybody else does too, because we're all
I
worth
think
it.
it's a good way to think of it, and we all have things that happen to us during our life that are positive and negative. But before I talk about that a little bit, we have a winner, and Susan.
We do have a winner. Peter Marino won. Congratulations, Peter. The answer was Wishful Drinking, which was the title of Carrie Fisher's first memoir. And she played Princess Leia Skywalker Organa Solo, I believe. I don't know if that's the correct name, but very, very good. And excuse me, everybody. There's something
Yeah.
clicking on the audio that I've
Okay.
been trying to pinpoint. I don't know what it is, so bear with us while we work through it. And I apologize for that. Back to you, Ralph.
Yeah. I
Congratulations,
had
Peter.
experience several years back because I follow that philosophy that if you try to be nice to someone and um, to make them feel better. And I was at Nat Stadium and I asked one of the ushers for a recommendation on a place to eat a sandwich. And I got the sandwich. Long and short of it, the sandwich was um, mediocre at best. But as I walked back to the seat, she asked, "How was the sandwich?" And I said it was the best sandwich I've had um, from the stadium in a long time. And she got a big smile on her face. So somebody asked me, why did I lie? And I said, no, it's not about lying. It's about making her feel better. Because if I said it was terrible, she'd be like, oh my God, I shouldn't have recommended it. But
Yeah.
one of the questions that I have for you, and try to keep it so to talk about empowerment, is a lot of our lives, we have the same pennies or same bad actors coming up over and over again in different ways. And how do you, at the point in time you need to get the courage to walk away from them or end it or just stop, right? So, because some of them become like rubber crutches, right?
So actors become crushes. Is that what you
Uh,
said?
bad actors in our lives,
Gotcha. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. And the question is how do we overcome those?
How do you stop the cycle is the question.
Well, what I found is this is where it leads back to adverse childhood experiences, which is ACEs. And if you don't break this cycle from childhood, you'll keep repeating the same mistakes until you actually recognize it. And what I did was I noticed this pattern, and I started to look back. And when you reflect, if you really take a deep look and want to really heal and you want to be honest, you're going to reflect and say, what did I do that creates this? And why am I picking, this other person? Or, why do I keep falling into these traps? And it really goes back to something that has happened as a child, and then recognizing that pattern. What did I see as a child? What did I see in my parents that made it normal, so to speak, that was carried into my whole adult life, or why I thought that's what relationships were supposed to be, or how I was supposed to be in that relationship. And there's many factors. I mean, not just women, but men. But, for me, it was more of having to always prove myself, and even in each of us women, we're always the caretakers. We're always, in my life, I was raised Catholic. We don't get divorces. I'm Italian, I'm Latin. You stick it through. You don't, get that divorce. But so it's a lot of things that like boxed me into a mindset of I was supposed to tolerate certain behaviors. And really, certain behaviors are very toxic. And it is not okay for anyone to yell at you, or not for you to live out your dreams. And if you think of why relationships end, we really want to be honest, it's the 4 and 6 year olds in us that are trying to get the other person to make us happy. This is what I expect. This is what I saw my parents do. And if you don't do XYZ, you are not for me, because you're not making me happy. You're not fixing my inner, child. And I think, again, it all goes back to, until you find your peace and find out that you're enough, you're going to continue making the same mistakes with individuals. And again, everybody has a different, journey and different path, but mostly it's all everybody reflecting on somebody else to fix it or to make you happy. But it's that old saying, until you're happy, you're really not going to find the right person. But to be honest with yourself and look at those patterns and find out why you keep, picking and choosing that. And we got to take responsibility, good or bad. And that's the hardest part, because we are choosing this.
Yeah, we own our lives. Nobody else. We can't blame anybody else for our lives. And I'm going to ask you about your relationship with Morgan Freeman and how that came to be and the impact it's had on you. But I want to give the audience a second trivia question first. So again, the second question will be again for a mug or a sleeve of golf balls, and the third question is going to be for the autographed copy of the book. We're just warming you up with these questions right now. So the second question is, the memoir, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, was written by what famous woman? Again, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings is the memoir of what famous woman? So, Marie, talk about your relationship with Morgan Freeman, well-recognized actor, played God in several movies, and how that came to be and what it's meant to you in your life.
Well, ironically, he's like the voice of God, right?
Yeah, literally, he's the voice of God.
Yeah, and at that time, I call it the dark ages. That was the time when I was going through a divorce. Everything was crashing down on me. People making up rumors, saying I was sleeping with everybody in town just because I was having meetings with men trying to get investors for my company. And again, I'm in the South. Everyone likes to talk and gossip, and, people say stuff and create, this nonsense. And so all this was having a ripple effect. And at the same time, I was suffering panic attacks, and just I didn't understand why would I, have to go through this. And those that were Christian that were in my home, there was really everything where I was looking, there was nothing about God. You know, there was nothing anybody did that was on truth and integrity. And so at that time, that, you know, same time period, I meet Morgan Freeman. We have mutual friends. And I was on the golf course, and him and I were sharing like our war stories. You know, I have a big T on my leg from the motorcycle accident.
Right.
With the 200 and something, you know, 80 something stitches. So, and Morgan Freeman was in a car accident, and it hurt, you know, his arm. So we were telling our war stories, and he said, you know, and I told him how my life was crashing down. And literally, if you talk to me at that time and tell me anything about you were Christian or anything, I didn't want to hear it, because there was nobody acting that way to me, you know. And Morgan says to me, Marie, everything happens for a reason. And I happened to look down on my leg, and I said, well, Morgan, what was God in the universe thinking? Why am I here in Tennessee? And I look down, I see this T and scar, and I'm like, what is this, T for Tennessee? And he goes, no, Marie, that's T for tough. And the moment he said that, a light clicked, you know, in my brain, and I was like, wait a minute, like Rocky Balboa, you know, you're beat down, like, and then all of a sudden the music, dun 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 dun, you know, and I'm like, that's right, I am tough. You know, what am I thinking? Why am I letting everybody, you know, bring me down? And but it was funny, because later when I look at this, out of anybody I wouldn't listen to, and Morgan Freeman comes in my life like the voice of God and clicks that light bulb to me. And that was a huge shift, a huge difference. And it empowered me. It empowered me to go find my yes, and, you know, continue on and get through my divorce, and not let anybody, you know, these words and these rumors and lies knock me down. I'm going to go tell my story, and I'm going to have a voice for myself and empower myself and go get this company going, you know? So.
Wow. Wow. Well, that's it. We're gonna stay on that theme and talk about Earth Angels, but we have a winner. So,
We
Susan?
have a winner. Congratulations, Kelly McConomy, for winning the answer to "I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings" is Maya Angelou. And Kelly really did win. She was the first one, because we had a few correct answers come in after her, but she beat us. She beat him to the punch. So congratulations, Kelly. And I have your address on file.
It's good to see Kelly back.
It is good
Welcome,
to have
Kelly.
Kelly back. I agree. Yep.
Yes. I'm going to give the third question, so we get that one out of the way. We can spend a lot, the winning minutes talking about some stuff, and how your advice to women and how they can, you know, gain more empowerment, what they should do. But talk about Earth Angels. And you know, we've seen the great movies, you know, The Angels in the Outfield, there's Guardian Angels with It's a Wonderful Life. But is it real, or is it made up from your perspective?
Well, I call Earth Angels, these are people that come into your life that change you. Like, to me, Morgan Freeman was like an Earth Angel, you know, that just came into my life and made a huge impact and set me on a good path. I had this was kind of shocking to me, that when I had a panic attack, I was in an ambulance, and the woman, this EMT said to me, you know, this too shall pass. And I didn't want to hear that at that time, you know, and but she stayed with me. I was, you know, taken into the emergency room, EKGs, trying to find out if I was having a heart attack. And but she stayed with me, and she was yelling at actually not yelling, but like, you know, telling the ER doctors, you know, how to handle this situation more calmly for me. And she wasn't supposed to be there, you know. that EMTs don't stick around, but she stayed with me in that room. And, it was one of the local fire, departments with the EMTs, that, would, if I went back to find out, that we would have known who worked that shift, and nobody could tell me who she was, but she stayed with me. She put a blanket on me, and she gave me encouraging words, and it helped me rest. And then she disappeared, and I have no idea who that person was. So to me, that was like a real life earth angel,
Wow, that's a great. It's a great story from a tragic scene, but it's a terrific story.
Yes.
Let me give the final trivia question. This one is from Barefoot to Stilettos, Finding Your Yes. What was the name of the SNL actor who penned the memoir Bossy Pants? So again, what is the name of the SNL actor that penned the autobiography Bossy Pants? So let's talk about a little bit about serendipity versus design plan. Things happen for a reason. I'm a Catholic as well, and of course we're always told God has a plan for everybody. Things happen for a reason. I also go through my life and I see a lot of things that happen serendipitously. Right. Talk about your views on that.
Well, the more and more I trust, have faith that it's going to work out, the more that I'm in a balance with a clear mind, and, my mind, body, and soul, like having that balance, when I'm eating well, when I'm sleeping well, that's when things just work out, and that's when you find this, it's just becomes this pattern when you're in that comfort zone or that groove, that's when things happen. That's kind of like when miracles happen. And, there's so many people out there, like from Tony Robbins to Jack Canfield, who is one of my mentors, who actually endorses the second book of mine. And, they always talk about, ask and you shall receive, manifest that. And I believe that there is very much truth in that, but you need action behind it as well. But there are things that just happen, because everybody, has their own certain energy, and this energy shifts all the time. I mean, look at what's happening right now in the world. Every day there's something, everything is shifting. But right now, the consciousness is actually fear. So we're all being thrusted with all this energy of fear, and how we're all navigating through it. So, if once you just keep that balance, and, I think you're going to find so many serendipitous or things that are like miracles, because things are working, in order. But if you're doing things based on fear, worry, or in those what we call the seven deadlies, basing things on ego, pride, jealousy, envy, that's, going to lead you down a whole different path. But again, once you're in that whole mindset of mind, body, and soul, so many things happen, so many miracles. And they say, even like all doctors, I did a documentary, Finding Your Yes, with Body and Soul, with Jack Canfield, by the way. And all the doctors said, and I recorded this before this whole, thing has happened, crisis has happened, but they all say, no matter what, if you're not in balance with those three things, nothing's going to work. No medication, no nothing. You could take two patients that have the same diagnosis, say two cancer patients, one that is living in doomsday, not doing well, not eating well. What do you think is going to happen, right? And then one that is of mind, body, and soul, that is changing lifestyle, that is thinking positive, they're going to survive, and that's the miracle, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I think. It's very much a mindset and clearing that mind of fear, and you're going to see so many different miracles within your own body, and things happen. I don't
Yeah.
understand everything that happens in this, but it is definitely, I wake up and I say I'm grateful. And the more and more that I'm grateful, no matter how cheesy it sounds or how many times you hear it, if you are thankful and grateful, so many miracles happen for you, and again, nothing's perfect. You're going to have to deal with, you know, the jerks of the world. You're going to have to deal with people that are, meanie pooters, and stuff like that. So, you're just going to, they could shake your groove, but don't let anyone, break that groove or dull your sparkle. So, that's what I think.
You are so right with those comments about some of the people that you come across. You just want to shake your head and go, "How the heck did that happen?" And
Yes.
others come into your life. A lot of others come into your life that are very meaningful, and you're glad to have them as friends and acquaintances and neighbors.
Yes.
Um, the one thing that caught my attention was the trailer to the picture, and I think it was Stiletto, Baroness of the Universe, if I remember correctly. That was such a
Stiletto, the
terrific depiction.
powerhouse baroness.
Powerhouse Baroness, right? Your depiction of a female taking charge was incredible. Now, explain that a little bit to the audience, because I actually like the trailer. I want to see the movie, but I like the trailer.
Well, Stiletto, the powerhouse baroness, she is actually inspired by my life story. Marvel Comic and DC illustrators came together and created this superhero inspired by my life story. And, ironically, when we wrote it back then, and it was about the good and evil, like she's got to face the good and evil inside her, like we all do. We got an angel on this side, a devil on this side. What is going to come out in us, that day. And there's these zombies that she has to battle, and it's kind of like what analogy of those that are just living in fear and just following and being programmed by media and Hollywood and all of this. And it's just ironically how we wrote that years ago and how it relates today. But I think, with a character like this, it's a new age it's a modern day Wonder Woman, and she is crossover of a Latin character, and she's in La Prensa Latina magazine as Stiletto comic strip. And the book is going to come out soon, and there is a movie being developed, and there's also a television series based on my life story that is being written, and I'm excited that it will come out, and hopefully, my book will inspire, and people will get a glimpse of what I've had to go through and realize, no matter again what anything, if I could do it, I know others can get through so many things if you just keep the faith and keep going for your yes.
Yes.
You know.
We have a winner on the third question. And Susan?
We do have a winner, and congratulations, Nancy Campbell Gorski. She had the correct answer on who wrote the autobiography Bossy Pants, and it was, of course, Tina Fey,
Wow.
which was really a great book. And Marie Lucelle, our out and about reporter for the Zebra, had a question of wondering if your documentary is on YouTube.
The documentary is not on YouTube, but the DVD is on Amazon. But if you go, it's called Finding Your Yes with Mind, Body, and Soul. It's on Tubi right now, and I believe if you go to footprint.tv and punch in the search bar Finding Your Yes with Mind, Body, and Soul, you can watch it there for free.
Oh, terrific.
That's good.
Okay, hopefully you
Great.
got that, Lucille.
Yeah.
So, and again, Nancy, Peter, and Kelly, congratulations on winning the trivia, and everybody, thank you for playing.
So, as we wrap up, what advice would you give all the women out there in our audience who may be struggling to take control of their lives? Now, most of the women that I see on the list of who's watching the show are very strong women, but um, what advice would you give them? If you know, I know there's no magic bullet and it's different for anybody else, but what's the first step? How do they get started in taking control?
I think the first step is to, how corny this sounds, but it was a technique or, something that I heard and I did, and it really was corny and was, but I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, I love you. We're so often telling other people we love them and everything else, but we don't tell ourselves that. And again, it is corny when you first do it, but if you literally look in the mirror, and again, this is not like narcissistic way or anything, but it's just saying, you know what, I appreciate you, I love you, and knowing that, if we don't take care of ourselves or love ourselves, how are we going to expect the rest of the world to love us? Or how are we going to even, um, you got to start there. You got to start that knowing that you're enough and love yourself enough to put the effort. This is the only body you have. This is the only mind you have, the only life that we have that I know of. So if we don't take part in caring for that body and our mind, body, and where our soul is, who else will? So we have to take responsibility. We have to do it, and to be able to know that we have that power. We all have that power. It's a choice. It is
Right.
really as simple as a choice. And again, when we get rid of that noise and all that stuff in media and what we're programmed, the boxes we're all put in, um, heck, I break that box, and, all the, powerful women, I'll hurdle over with my stilettos. And a lot of women, that are, they do get some, got offended with, saying something about stilettos. This is not about talking about, strippers or anything. This is about, we're all little girls who watch Cinderella, and we all heard the thing how to break through that glass ceiling, but when you rise tall and you have that power, and you could be sexy, you could be empowered, you could be all of that, but it doesn't matter until you know that yourself.
Yeah, I think in the book you used, if I remember correctly, titanium stilettos. It's kind of
Yes.
a metaphor for the men that used to be in the uh, boardroom or the in charge, and they would just iron and tack without tact, just my way, my way, my way. But and your stiletto heels is a metaphor to crush them.
Well, no, the metaphor is it's titanium stilettos. It's the strongest ratio. You can't melt it. You can't, to me, I have titanium stilettos now that means I'm not going to fall. I am built to last. Like, Morgan named my T on, my scar T for tough. And like Ford, trucks, yeah, I'm built to last, baby, And so it's being tough. It's not so much being tough in the boardroom, but, it is, also that you got to go up against the boys. You got to go up against good old boys. And I got 100 Me Too stories and sexual harassment. And it's all about having that power. And to me, there is no bravery in destroying anyone. Empowerment is rising to the occasion to be part of the solution. And with power comes responsibility, So that's the way I take my titanium stilettos.
Yeah.
And
So what?
I might just swift kick you if you don't do the right thing.
To my point.
Yeah.
So what's next for Marie?
Well, right now we're in the middle of building my studio. It's MVP3 Studios. We're about film music community. I partnered with a hotel group. We're going to have an indoor theme park. So I'm basically building my own Paramount Studios, Sony, and Time Warner all in one.
Wow. Well, congratulations, and I know
Thank
it will
you.
be successful, so I don't have to hope it. But
Thank you. Everybody could come out to Memphis, Tennessee. We're producing movies and we're creating our own television network as well. And, I want to be part of this shift, this change to bring back truth and integrity in media and entertainment. So I'm on a mission in my titanium stilettos.
congratulations. Actually, as luck would have it, I'm going to be in Memphis in about 3 weeks. So, taking a riverboat up the Mississippi, and the last stop is Memphis. I'm looking forward
Okay.
to going to Graceland again and maybe seeing some of the blues bars.
Well, come by and see our studio.
I will. I will. Thank you for the invitation. Well, you've been a terrific guest, and we appreciate you coming on and talking about your life and giving the encouragement to anybody out there that you can do it and just go
Thank
at it.
you. Thank you.
Okay, well, terrific. Well, Marie, thank you so much. Your stories are great. I think we could make a book of empowering sayings that you just let us all hear. So I really appreciate your insight and your energy. I think it's really great. Ralph, thanks again. And Ralph, you're going to be back with us next week, right?
Next week, and we have another story of empowerment. Only this one is empowering children, in by Casey Waish, and her series of children's books, I'm the Boss of Me, and it teaches children to take control of their body and to help avoid some of the nasty stuff that may happen to children if they don't. So, again, it'll be a interesting children's author, but it's an empowering children. So I'm looking forward to that one as well.
Terrific. Wonderful. Well, listen, thank you so much, Ralph. Always a pleasure. And we will see you next Tuesday. Everybody else, thank you so much. Great trivia answering tonight. Next, we're off. ZTV is off tomorrow night, but on Thursday, Elisa Kovach of Alexandria Makers Market will be back with her guest is going to be Karen Johnson of Pause Go here in Alexandria. So be sure to tune in for that. On Monday, Steve Hauk will be back with Living on Music, and his guest is Reverend Peyton, a dynamic leader of the Americana Country Blues Band, the Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band. And then, of course, we have all shows next week as well, including the Alexandria Symphony Orchestra. So everybody, please tune in. Stay tuned to our Facebook page for listings and for schedule information. And again, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Congratulations to our trivia winners. And remember, as much as you can, to be the good news in someone's life.